guys, you are welcome to my channel AM Discoveries. And like I told you, we are back on the parenting series. And today the topic is amazing. Trust me, this is something that I believe we all deal with. We all, one way or another, meet children that are having this challenge, or we experience them and we wonder what is going on. How do I handle this challenge? And so today I'm interviewing an amazing woman, a phenomenal woman. You know, her accolades, like if I should start talking about her right now, I won't finish. The number of certificates she has, her expertise, it's a lot. The number of years she has actually worked with children, and special needs children, you have no idea. But I'll leave that for her to tell us. But today, the topic we are talking about is dealing with children with behavioral challenges. And lots of children, you know, you might be wondering, okay, this was special children. No, we have a lot of typical children that also have a lot of challenging behaviors. And so today we are going to talk about that. And then after that, you know, after this interview actually, we are going to be taking your feedback, your case studies, your stories, and then we'll get back to you on them. So you probably have a child who has a behavioral challenge that you would want something to be done about it. So you have no idea that, okay, should we do this or that? Send us your stories, and then on the next episode we are going to handle that. But let me stop all this talking. Let me bring her on. And so let's take a quick break and then introduce our guests for today. So, Madam Vic, I don't want to mention your name. I want you to introduce yourself, and then I will use the one I like to call you.
Okay.
So please, you are welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me.
I have been chasing this woman for the past 2 years. Finally, I have her. So you are welcome and welcome and welcome again.
Thank you once again.
Okay, so could you introduce yourself to my viewers and then we shoot from there?
Okay. So I am Mrs. Victoria Odako Clayman.
I like to call her wife of Mr. Clayman. Okay, and so I was telling everyone how, you know, experienced you are, the number of years you have been doing this. Could you, I know you don't want to share with us, but you just a little. How many years you've been in this, and you know, if there's any other thing you want us to know before we dive into it.
Okay. So I always want to say I've been doing this for a while.
Okay.
Managing children, teaching children with special needs, vulnerable children, all together.
Yeah.
Yes, and personally I have been a mother for the past 6 years.
Amazing. And even at church, you still work with children, right?
I'm a Sunday school teacher.
Amazing. So she does this, like she's all about children. Okay, and so today, as you already know, we are talking about dealing with challenging behaviors. You know, now I have realized that a lot of parents have children who have challenging behaviors. Like they believe, oh, he's just being a child, he's just being a child. The child wants something, they start crying and then they throw themselves on the ground. Or, you know, just like this. So before we dive into the cases actually, I want you to tell us what is behavior. And then you tell us what we look out for, like what are the symptoms or what shows that this child has a challenging behavior.
So you made mention that of late. I also want to believe that this issue has been there. They have been, I mean, every parent or every caregiver has experienced this, but due to social media and the outpour and the openness of people these days, that's why we hear it.
Okay.
They've always been there. So behavior. I will let me take it from my psychological point of view.
Okay, psychological point of view.
Okay, so my background being psychology, we know that behavior is the outward act of an individual.
Okay.
What you have in there and how you bring it out
Okay.
is behavior. What you see and what someone else can see and we measure is what we call behavior.
Okay.
So what if it's not seen or if it's not out,
You can't call it behavior.
Okay. In psychology, we have 2 types of behavior. We have the covert and the overt.
Okay.
One has to do with what's inside and one has to do with what's outside. I don't want to go into that.
Okay. So since behavior is what is shown, what we see on the outside, at what point do I say this is a challenging behavior? Because I also believe, based on our culture, based on our background, something would be okay to me, might not be okay with you. So at what point, universally, do we say this is a challenging behavior?
Okay. So universally, like you said, universally it's what is not right or what's not accepted.
Okay.
But then we are going to break it down. What you, Mona, in your house, in your family call a challenging behavior is when someone is going off from your family values, the family, what you are called, and your rules that you have set down.
Okay.
So when a child in that your setting is off from what is laid down, it is a challenging behavior for you. So, and then it could be different from for instance, from the Clayman families set rules and regulations. Yeah. But then universally, it's like when someone puts it up, maybe in the street, they expect people to walk in the street, but when it goes, the person seems to be walking the other way out, then it's a challenging behavior.
Okay. So we have the ones for the family, but then socially, in general, what you do that seems out of order, then it's a challenging behavior.
Yes.
So can you give us some symptoms, some things that when we see, we can say this is a challenging behavior? So maybe a parent out there or a teacher out there has a particular child and they are showing certain things. What can I look and say, okay, this child has a challenging behavior?
Okay. So I also cannot talk about this without looking at the stages or the branches of the child. So a child, even though a child is who we see he is, in his or her life, we need to break it down.
Okay.
Stages of the child. So the first and primary stage is the family. Then the second stage is his school, so his teachers. And the third one is his social setting. So let's take the first one, which is the family.
Okay.
So in the family,
okay, so before you break this down, let's take a quick break so you can, have the juice I have for you here. Okay guys, you are welcome back. Why for Mr. Clayman?
Yes.
How do you see my juice packaging?
I like it.
Yeah, this is from Edna's Local Bar. Yeah, it's natural juice, but then the packaging, for me, it's the packaging for me.
Okay. Wow, I don't want to start now. I know I'm going to finish it.
I am not even going to be another one because mine is reserved. So
okay,
let's put this down and continue.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, now back to business.
Yes.
Before we left, you were talking about some variables that affect a person's behavior, a child's behavior. Okay, so please, let's go.
So, like I mentioned earlier, there are variables in the child's life that we have to look at.
Okay.
So, I mentioned the first one being the home, which consists of the parents, the siblings, nannies or the grandparents, as in the Ghanaian setting. The second one being the educational system of the child. The last one, his or her social skills, which has to do with the environment, peer group, church, and other things.
Okay.
So if it's the childhood or their parenting, their parents and everything, before anyone grows up, they would have gone through a system in life. And those ones, we call them the childhood experiences.
Okay.
So a mother, for instance, myself, I've had a few experiences from my parents, and I know some of being right and wrong. And I'm bringing up, my time were in the 80s and 90s, and I'm bringing up a child in the 20th century. Now we call them what, Gen Z generation. I cannot compare, or I cannot put my child in a box, like how we say, to conform or move in that line. So what parents are actually experiencing now, that we are actually calling challenging behaviors, is the 10 or the molding of our.
So it's like there's now a struggle between the olden days or the old ways of doing things and then the Gen Z generation. So now it's like it's a challenging behavior because parents feel like you're supposed to do this. The child feels like, hello.
I mean, do you know what's out there? Do you know what others are doing? And it is challenging. It's a back and forth, and it's stressful for parents. So they definitely term that side a very, very challenging behavior.
Okay.
So then let's move to
school,
to the school setting. the school setting, we can also move the experiences then there. I know there's a curriculum that the children have to learn. There's definitely something that the teachers will have to teach. Then here comes another child, and then the teacher from another expectation.
Yeah.
There's always that.
So that we can have the conflict also causing the challenging behavior. So probably, maybe if I'm going to give a case study, there's probably this child who maybe learns best from watching videos or from songs, and there's probably a teacher who wants to use the conventional way of book, sit down, and so we'll have a challenging behavior over there.
Until it takes a teacher who will get to that consensus, that get to that midline, meet you halfway, you also meet me halfway. And even with that, the teacher or the adult there is expecting the child to also what? Make a move.
Which means challenging behaviors, usually it's because of expectations that are not met.
It's one of them, yeah.
Okay. And so now, I think you move to environment, the social life. So
I made mention of an experience on the streets, for instance. Our children and our young adults are watching so much on TV.
Social media.
Yeah. They bring it, they take it from the house, take it from the school, they take it to the streets.
So all those things come together to form a challenging behavior.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you look at the variables, then whoever it is, the therapist, the developmental psychologist is looking at how to come in, how to solve these problems. And it's always, we call it a sandwich. We can even say jollof rice. Everything, one pot dish, everyone is awake. You're not leaving anything out. So when you look at the variables in that sense, then the therapist will know what to do, when to come in, and then make sure that you involve everyone. Because if it's a floating thing and then this one is not doing their job, this one is not doing their job, this one will not experience the outcome.
So it means when you identify the challenging behavior, now you look at the variables, you look at home, you look at school, look at the environment, the upbringing, the lifestyle, then you can be able to say, okay, this behavior is as a result of this, and so all of this has to be worked on. Amazing. Okay, and so currently, when you are looking at the stats, what's the percentage? How many children would we say are having challenging behaviors as compared to like before?
So when I started this in somewhere 2011, we would say that 1 out of every 10 children.
Okay.
1 out of, it was 10, 11. But for now, you put 3 children down, there's 1 with a challenging behavior.
Okay.
Every 3 to 4 children you see, there's 1
with a challenging behavior. Wow. So, anyway, I was going to ask what could be the reason, but you already mentioned social media and then, the different generations.
The different generational changes. And also, we know of some of the developmental challenges that children have. And sometimes we put them in the umbrella called the spectrum. The autism spectrum. Yes. Sometimes our children fall within that. It could be on the mild stage or the severe stage or the moderate stage. So sometimes after diagnosis, we realize that the children may have something from these 3. And because of that, there are times that where challenging behaviors persist. And that's when a teacher or a parent is forced to go to a professional, a neurodevelopmental psychologist or a neurodevelopmental pediatrician to find out what is happening. And these are some of the things they come up with that. They could be facing conduct behaviors or they could be on the autism spectrum or ADHD and all that.
So it means that a child could have a challenging behavior as a result of a neurodevelopmental challenge. Okay, and it's also possible that a child could have the behavior not because the child is a special child or anything, but it's just probably upbringing, like you're saying, the environment and all those things. Okay, amazing. And so I was going to ask why it exists, but I think you have already mentioned it. You've already mentioned the environment and upbringing and everything. Okay, and so at this point, we are supposed to move on to other points, like talk about the causes, how to diagnose, interventions, and all of that. But I guess we'll push that to our next interview because that is when we are going to be handling the cases.
Yes.
Okay, so she wants us to actually give her real life cases. She wants, like I mentioned from the very beginning, we want cases that we can actually dive in so that when we are moving on to our next discussion, she's not just talking, but then she can mention a case and use that to break down. Because when it comes to special behavior, there are actually a lot of things you can do to handle it. There are things you can look at, right? Okay, so is there something else I was supposed to ask you that I'm not asked you, or something you want to say before we call it a day?
I believe they will come up in the case. You will see the diversity there. How typical parents will be complaining at the same time. Atypical parents will also.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And so we'll take a quick break and then we get back to you. Hello guys, and so like we mentioned, for the next interview, she's going to come back again, but then before she handles the other aspects like how to access, the tools to use, and the interventions and all those things, she would want us to give her real cases. So if your child is behaving in a particular way which you feel or you believe is a challenging behavior, send us your story. And then we'll read your story, then we will break it down to help you know whether it's a challenging behavior or not and what to do to help your child get better, okay? And so this is where we bring today's discussion to an end, but then it's a pause because we'll come back to finish it completely. Thank you so much for being a part. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment and don't forget to share and to like. And thanks to everyone that has been a part of AM Discoveries from the very beginning. And thank you so much to my amazing crew. Today I had a lot of crew members. Thank you Fidals for being my makeup artist. Thank you Rosie for being the light girl and the assistant production manager. Thank you Abigail Hermosa. Thank you so much. You have really been doing an amazing job supporting Augustina. Thank you. And thank you, Edna, for being my back girl crew, cheering us on. Thank you so much. And Mrs. Clayman, wife of Mr. Clayman, thank you so much for being on the show. We look forward to having you again. And guys, we are waiting for your stories. Feel free to, contact me and then we'll continue from there. AM Discoveries, discovering them. As always, my name is Anna Musafina, but you can call me, yes, you got it right, Miss Mo. Bye!